What if the account you trusted to protect your future is quietly setting you up for failure? Most Americans make the same 3 mistakes with their retirement, and they don't see them until it's too late. These mistakes cost thousands of dollars, years of savings, and the peace of mind you deserve. Stay with me, because today we'll expose the 3 costly errors inside an XRP retirement account, and more importantly, how to avoid them before they steal your freedom. Part 1. The first costly mistake inside an XRP retirement account is taking money out too soon. On the surface, it feels harmless. You've worked hard, you've saved, and you think, why not use a little now? But retirement accounts are built on strict rules, and the system punishes impatience. Consider John, who dipped into his savings at 58 to cover an emergency. He thought it was just a small withdrawal. Instead, he faced early withdrawal penalties, higher taxes, and the loss of compounding growth that could never be regained. What seemed like a solution in the moment turned into years of regret. This is the trap. Early withdrawals don't just shrink the account balance, they accelerate the decline. They strip away the very protection the account was designed to provide. And once the money is gone, rebuilding becomes nearly impossible. The truth is, your retirement account isn't just about access, it's about timing. Knowing when to use it is as important as saving in the first place. Avoiding this mistake means guarding your future from a slow leak that turns security into scarcity. Part 2. The second costly mistake inside an XRP retirement account is failing to diversify. Too many savers believe that if they put everything into one place, they'll be safe. The truth is the opposite. Concentration creates fragility. Imagine Sarah, who trusted her entire retirement to a single asset. For years, it looked strong. But when the market shifted, she lost more than money. She lost peace of mind. With no backup, every dip felt like disaster, and every headline became a source of fear. Diversification doesn't mean chasing every new idea or scattering funds blindly. It means building layers of protection, assets that move differently, accounts that balance each other, strategies that give you choices when the unexpected arrives. Without diversity, one change in the system, a tax law, a market crash, a new regulation, can topple your entire plan. With diversity, the same storm becomes survivable. The lesson is clear. Retirement is not about betting on one outcome. It's about preparing for many. A well-structured portfolio turns fear into flexibility, and flexibility is what keeps your retirement secure. Part 3. The third costly mistake is underestimating the impact of taxes on withdrawals. Many savers assume that once they stop working, their tax burden will shrink. But the reality is often harsher. Retirement income can push you into higher brackets, and required distributions can trigger bills you never expected. Take Ellen, who carefully built her account but never accounted for taxes. When she began withdrawing, she found nearly a third of her check disappearing to the IRS. What should have been enough for comfort suddenly felt tight. Vacations were canceled, medical bills became stressful, and her sense of security slipped away. Taxes are not a side note. They are a central piece of retirement planning. Ignoring them is like building a house and forgetting the foundation. You can save faithfully for decades, but if you don't prepare for taxes, you give away far more than you need to. The truth is, retirement freedom doesn't come only from how much you save. It comes from how much you keep. Seeing taxes as a silent partner means you can manage them, instead of being blindsided by them. Part 4. Picture 2 retirees who worked the same number of years, saved with equal discipline, and dreamed of the same peaceful future. Their journeys split not by effort, but by awareness. The first made all 3 mistakes. He tapped his account early, losing money to penalties and taxes. He kept everything in one place, so when markets shook, his entire plan collapsed at once. And he never accounted for taxes, only to see his withdrawals cut down year after year. Retirement became smaller than the life he earned. The second avoided those traps. She resisted early withdrawals, kept her portfolio diverse, and prepared for taxes before they arrived. Her savings didn't make her immune to challenges, but they gave her freedom. When storms came, she bent without breaking. Both worked hard. Both saved faithfully. But one now lives in fear of running out, while the other enjoys peace of mind. The difference isn't luck, it's choices. Retirement security doesn't come from how much you earn, it comes from avoiding the mistakes that steal it away. Part 5. The greatest protection against these 3 costly mistakes is simple: awareness, gained early, before the damage is done. Most families don't fail because they're careless. They fail because they wait too long to ask questions, and by the time they see the traps, their options are limited. Think of Karen, who started learning in her early 50s. She studied withdrawal rules, diversified her savings, and mapped out her taxes while there was still time to adapt. When retirement arrived, surprises were small, and challenges never turned into crises. Her preparation gave her peace. Now contrast that with Tom, who shrugged off the warnings. He assumed he could figure it out later. But later never came. By the time penalties hit and taxes mounted, it was too late to rebuild. What he lost wasn't only money, it was dignity and freedom. The truth is, every day of delay hands more power to the system. Every day of awareness adds strength to your future. Retirement security is not about reacting under pressure. It's about preparing before the pressure arrives. Part 6. Michael, a 61-year-old from Arizona, thought his retirement was ruined. He had taken early withdrawals to cover family expenses, concentrated his savings in one account, and ignored tax planning. By the time he realized the cost, his balance looked thin and his confidence was gone. For months, regret haunted him. But instead of surrendering, Michael chose to fight back. He studied the withdrawal rules he once ignored, spread his investments beyond a single channel, and worked with a tax advisor to create a smarter plan. The turnaround wasn't instant, but slowly, he began to rebuild. Within a few years, the fear that once kept him up at night faded. His account grew steadier, his withdrawals became predictable, and his sense of control returned. What seemed like the end became a new beginning. Michael's story proves a vital truth. Mistakes don't have to define retirement. They can become lessons if you're willing to act. The sooner you face them, the faster you reclaim peace of mind. Part 7. Ask any retirement expert and they'll tell you the same thing. The 3 mistakes we've exposed, early withdrawals, lack of diversification, and ignoring taxes, show up again and again. Why? Because the system almost encourages them. Wall Street markets easy access as a benefit, without warning how penalties crush early withdrawals. Advisors call portfolios diversified, even when everything is tied to the same market. And tax planning is treated like a footnote, left for savers to figure out on their own. The result? Families walk into traps believing they're safe. It isn't about laziness or ignorance, it's about trust. People trust the brochures, the commercials, the polished advice that hides the fine print. By the time reality hits, the mistakes have already cost thousands. Experts agree, avoiding these errors doesn't require genius, it requires awareness. When savers understand the rules, they make better choices. When they don't, the cycle repeats. The lesson is clear. You cannot assume the system will protect you. You must protect yourself by learning where the dangers lie and stepping around them before it's too late. Part 8. Picture 2 retirees walking the same road but carrying very different burdens. The first made all 3 mistakes. He dipped into his account early, handing away thousands in penalties. He concentrated his savings, so every market swing felt like an earthquake. And he ignored taxes, only to find his withdrawals sliced down year after year. His retirement is marked by stress, disappointment, and a constant fear of running out. The second avoided those traps. She kept her withdrawals on schedule, diversified her savings across multiple assets, and prepared for taxes before they arrived. Her account still rose and fell with the markets, but she never lost balance. Instead of fear, she carried freedom. Instead of regret, she carried peace. Both worked equally hard, both saved faithfully. But their futures split because one saw the mistakes early and the other never did. The contrast is striking, and the message is simple. Retirement security isn't about chance, it's about choices. Avoiding 3 common traps can mean the difference between living with fear and living with dignity. Part 9. Linda, a 63-year-old nurse from Colorado, thought her retirement was finished before it began. She had taken early withdrawals to help her children, trusted one account for all her savings, and ignored the tax rules that quietly cut her balance in half. By the time she retired, the future looked smaller than the life she had dreamed. For months, Linda lived with regret. But then, she made a decision: to learn what she had never been told. She studied the penalties that had cost her, spread her savings into safer layers, and created a tax plan with the help of experts. The progress was slow, but each step gave her more control. Within a few years, Linda's story changed. Her savings stopped shrinking, her withdrawals felt steady, and the fear that once haunted her was replaced by confidence. She still remembers the mistakes, but she no longer feels defined by them. Linda's journey proves a powerful truth. Even when you've stumbled into every trap, you can still climb out. Mistakes may shape your past, but they don't have to control your future. Part 10. Retirement security is not destroyed by fate. It's weakened by avoidable mistakes. We've seen 3 of the most costly: withdrawing too early, concentrating everything in one place, and ignoring the impact of taxes. Alone, each mistake hurts. Together, they can steal decades of work in silence. But these traps are not destiny. They are warnings. And once you see them, you can step around them. The difference between fear and freedom is not in how much you earn, but in how wisely you protect what you've earned. Some will continue down the same path, blind to the penalties, the fragility, and the tax burdens that wait ahead. Others will act now, learning the rules, diversifying their accounts, and preparing for the challenges before they arrive. The truth is simple. Your retirement story is still being written, and every choice you make today shapes the ending. Will it be a story of regret, or one of resilience and peace of mind? The answer isn't hidden. It's in your hands. If today's video helped you spot the 3 costly mistakes that can drain an XRP retirement account, don't let the message stop here. Hit the like button to show YouTube this is content worth sharing. Leave a comment with your thoughts or experiences. Your story could guide someone else away from the same traps. Share this video with a friend or family member who needs to protect their future before it's too late. And most importantly, subscribe to XRP Today USA for daily insights that reveal the truth, cut through confusion, and help you prepare with confidence. Your support doesn't just grow this channel, it builds a community of people who refuse to let mistakes steal their freedom. Together, we can transform fear into clarity and make retirement a season of peace, not regret.